Hi, it's Michelle from Movement Lesson. I just got this great response from a mother who's using my laser series to help her child with the rare genetics, and he started feeding himself for the first time. And she's so excited because she just finished the hand section and he turned around and was self-feeding. And she's like, this is just amazing. And she's just about to get into the cranial suture midlines part is part of your bonuses with the laser, and she can't wait to see how that happens. But I really wanted to take this time to explain to her why the laser in particular helped with the feeding, right? And I thought it'd be great to tell all of you and actually show you what he was doing. So one of the things that you'll see with the laser is this particular laser that I'm working with is for inner core rotation, right? Most people think of lasers as it being an anti-inflammatory or any of those kind of things. I'm not using it for those purposes. I have found that if you're looking for movement to go from one area to the other, something I call core movement integration, not core strength, this is different, when you're trying to cross your midlines and do all of those kind of things. But children with special needs, based on genetics or not, have a lot of complications with these things. One of the first milestones that we have around 5.5 months, when the baby's jumping on your lap, is the thumb will articulate up from the pinky, right? And this creates all of our self-help skills, right? To dress myself, to feed myself, the thumb has to go above the pinky. When a child's not going into those kind of milestones, they're not going into the milestones for self-feed. So feeding isn't necessarily about the tongue, the swallow, the eating, the act all around the mouth. Sometimes it's just getting the food to the mouth. Another thing that people think of is the hand opens and closes. It's not. Every fine motor skill that you want to do, right, better be in your hands. And so this is what the program is working on, and it's really exciting to see. So I'm going to explain to you how the laser works and why you can possibly get feeding out of it. So it's great. Thanks. So the question is, as I mentioned, why would a child start feeding themselves after working with the hand course? So one of the things that we're doing in the laser course is I'm doing a substantial evaluations techniques and movement techniques based off of midline, and then based off of using the laser application into different areas. One of them, which is the hand, let's say. So when you're starting to work with the hands, all the milestones are reflected within the hand, including self-feed. Most people think that the hand is like an open and closed device. It's not. Every aspect of the hand has to cross midline. This is why it's so important in the laser course of what's going on with movement lesson. And that's what you're learning. However, the reason why not only is crossing the midline within the metatarsal so important is this use of the laser. The movement lesson laser, as you know in the course, promotes rotation, spiral-based rotation, right? I'm not using the laser for medicinal purposes. We're using it for movement. Well, within, and this is what you're going to see in a moment, working with the skeletal system, there are so many small bones within the hands. Well, it is almost impossible, especially when someone has rare genetics, because with rare genetics, you're already associating that there's issues with muscle-based response. Most rare genetics are rare genetics because it is a muscle-based response. Most people thinking of, for the most part, hypotonia, that's not really what is going on. Hypotonia is just a symptom, but again, it's the movement response of the muscles which is getting affected. Most rare genetics affects rotation. So therefore, that's where the lasers can be so beneficial, because you're getting into areas of rotational-based responses that the nervous system hasn't had a chance to get into. This is why you want to evoke something like movement lesson into your child's life, especially when they have rare genetics, because that's what movement lesson is based off of. I believe that we create all our developmental milestones with rotational movements. I mean, you can lie down on the floor all you want, but if you can't rotate, you can't get up. A lot of people then blame that argument or present an argument that that's muscle-based. Is it muscle-based, or is the structure of movement having the deficit? I'm going after the structure of movement because, like in my son's case, I couldn't change the muscles, but I could change the way the structure of his movement. And that's why he's a black belt, but that's where I've been studying those kind of dynamics of why people do certain movements and they don't do certain movements. Like this hand played professional ball. Why was this hand able to do certain movements that my hand couldn't be to do? Again, it's not just interest in cognitive based, it's a system based. So you're using the laser to get in there and provide that inner rotation as you're learning that exterior rotation. As that rotation, that in and out, this is another thing we really miss with most milestones. When a child's having troubles achieving it, we're going for the up, not the down. We can't do any milestone without being able to get in and out of the position. So it's not just about trying to get your child to sit up. It's not just about trying to get your child to stand. It's being able to go in and out of sitting or in and out of standing. Once a child can do that, then they can transition into the next milestone, which therefore would be walking, let's say, or crawling. And so they're using the stimulation again of the rotation and learning how to work with the rotation of the laser and the rotation of your touch. This is where you're going to see things where you're getting like where he's learning how to self-feed. So as you can see here with the hand, right, when you're looking at the structure of the hand, we really only see the fingers and the palm. So despite the fact that I have, let's say, very fine motor skills and I can work on something, what you're learning to do again, and the laser's assisting you, is as you're doing that rotational movement through, the laser is stimulating, especially all these small bones within the hand. It's just almost physically impossible to get into. And another thing that starts to happen as well, and this is where the laser comes in so handy, because another thing that you're learning to do is what I present as core movement integration. So if someone's never crawled, this ability of going into extension through the hand and crossing midline is just not there. You'll have these kind of movements. And with the laser, it's instant how you can start working on that extension, that core movement. And again, what you've learned is just proper placement of all those things. So when he goes to pick up the spoon, right, it gets regulated off the hand here, right? It's not about an open and closed feet.